Well, right off the bat, it starts with this image of an eternal ocean under an eternal fog.
Hmm.
And the interpretation immediately links this to the quantum vacuum.
Okay, the quantum vacuum. That's the idea that empty space isn't really empty, right? It's full of potential.
Exactly, or maybe even the state before the Big Bang, if there was such a thing. And the eternal fog is then compared to the Planck epoch.
The Planck epoch. That's like the very, very first fraction of a second, where physics as we know it breaks down.
Precisely. That incredibly early, fuzzy moment, it's a powerful starting image, this sort of primordial soup of potential.
It really is this void that's also sort of full. So then the ducks appear, the white and black ducks.
Right. And they're interpreted as representing this fundamental duality. Think positive and negative energy.
Ah, okay. Like the forces that need to balance out.
Sort of, yeah. It even touches on the zero energy universe idea, the hypothesis that maybe the total energy in the universe, positive and negative, adds up to zero. Cosmic balance from the very beginning.
That was quite elegant.
Yeah.
So what do the ducks do?
Well, the black duck dives down, dives into this ocean, this abyss, and brings back mud.
Mud, okay.
And then the white duck takes this mud and scatters it. Now, this whole sequence, the dive, the mud, the scattering, is interpreted as an allegory for the Big Bang and cosmic inflation.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Break that down a bit. The dive is...
The dive is likened to the quantum fluctuation. You know, that tiny random disturbance in the quantum vacuum that might have kicked everything off, triggered the Big Bang.
Okay, I see. And the mud it brings back.
That's the primordial singularity, that initial unbelievably dense point that contained everything before the universe started expanding.
Right, right. And the white duck scattering it.
Yeah.
That's inflation.
That's the analogy, yeah. Cosmic inflation, that period of incredibly rapid exponential expansion of space right after the Big Bang. The scattering action mirrors that sudden spreading out.
It's quite a striking comparison, isn't it? Ancient myth, modern physics.
It is thought-provoking, definitely. The source even gets into other details, like the 3 whales that supposedly hold up the Earth and some related folklore.
Yeah. What about them?
The interpretation suggests they could be a metaphor for dark matter halos.
Seriously. Dark matter halos, those huge invisible structures around galaxies.
That's the idea, these vast clumps of dark matter that provide the gravitational scaffolding for galaxies to form. It's a leap, for sure, but it's connecting this ancient image to a relatively recent scientific concept.
That's wild. Okay, what else? There's a world tree involved too, isn't there?
Yes, the seed that grows into the world tree. And this is interpreted as a metaphor for the large-scale structure of the universe itself.
How so?
Well, the roots going down into the abyss, they're seen as like dark matter filaments, these huge web-like strands of dark matter that connect galaxy clusters across the cosmos.
Okay.
The trunk, the visible part of the tree, represents baryonic matter. That's the normal stuff, like stars, planets, gas, us.
The stuff we can see.
Right. And the branches spreading outwards are linked to the cosmic microwave background radiation.
The CMB, the afterglow of the Big Bang.
Exactly. That faint light bathing the entire universe. So the tree becomes this unified picture of cosmic structure, from the unseen roots of dark matter to the visible trunk and the faint glow of the branches.
It's like the whole universe mapped onto a tree. That's a powerful image. Then there's something about fire and stars.
Yeah, the myth apparently describes the black duck's fire shattering into stars. This is linked to the reionization era.
Reionization, remind me.
So after the Big Bang's initial light faded, the universe entered a kind of dark age. Then the very first stars formed and their intense light started ionizing the neutral hydrogen gas that filled space. Basically, they lit the universe up again.
Ah, okay, so the shattering fire is like the first stars switching on.
That's the connection being made. And there's another bit about hidden embers from that fire creating volcanoes, which is interpreted as a metaphor for entropy.
Entropy, the tendency towards disorder, the second law of thermodynamics.
Like volcanoes releasing heat and energy, kind of representing that ongoing process of energy dissipating, things running down over cosmic time.
That's a really interesting layer. Okay, and the ducks build a nest at the top of the world tree.
They do. And here the interpretations get even more, let's say, speculative.
Go on.
The nest is suggested to maybe represent a cyclic universe model. You know, the idea that the universe goes through endless cycles of big bangs and big crunches or bounces.
Yeah.
Or even the multiverse. Each egg in the nest could symbolize a separate universe within a larger multiverse structure.
Wow, okay. That's pretty out there. Connecting a nest to the multiverse.
It is, and their eternal song, the ducks singing, is linked to the idea of underlying quantum fields, the fundamental fields that permeate space-time and are constantly active, a sort of cosmic hum.
So it's suggesting this deep, constant dynamism beneath everything.
Yeah. And one last bit. Beneath the world tree, there's this alligator stone, a mythical stone, guarded by whales, sitting over chaos.
Okay, more chaos.
The chaos is again linked to the quantum vacuum, that sea of fluctuations. The whales guarding it are potentially the fundamental forces, gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces that impose order on that chaos.
And the stone itself.
The alligator stone. Well, the source tentatively suggests it might be analogous to the Higgs field.
The Higgs field.
Yeah.
The one that gives particles mass.
That's the one. So it's a really layered interpretation connecting these mythic elements to some very fundamental physics concepts.
So stepping back from the details, what's the bigger picture here, according to this interpretation?
Well, the source really emphasizes the myth's grasp of cosmic duality, order versus chaos, how opposites are intertwined. And it highlights the idea of the creation seed not just as an event, but maybe more like a phase transition, a fundamental shift in the state of reality.
Like water freezing into ice, but on a cosmic scale?
Something like that, yeah. It even connects this to ideas like fractal geometry patterns repeating at different scales, and the holographic principle, which is a pretty advanced physics concept suggesting information is encoded on surfaces.
So the argument is that this ancient myth is almost like a proto-science story.
Pretty much. A kind of proto-scientific narrative or humanity's first stab at a theory of everything, just told using metaphors instead of math. There's that Brian Cox quote mentioned, "The universe is made of stories, not just atoms."
That really resonates. It shows the deep human need to make sense of it all through narrative, which actually is a perfect lead-in to the other part of our dive today, the actual ancient duck myths.
Right, because this idea of waterfowl, especially ducks or loons, being key players in creation isn't just in this one reinterpreted story. It's really widespread, particularly among Uralic and Siberian peoples.
Okay, so let's dig into those. What are some examples?
Well, if you look at the Finnic-Ugric traditions, people like the Komi and the Udmurt, they have stories where a creator god, often called Yen, sends a bird, usually a loon, down to the bottom of the primordial sea.
To get the mud, like in the other story.
Exactly, to get the mud to create the land. And often the story emphasizes how hard it is the loon might dive several times and fail.
Right.
And when it finally succeeds, sometimes barely alive, its chest is stained dark from the effort or the mud itself. It's a mark of its crucial role.
That's a great detail, the stained breast. What about other groups? The Mansi.
The Mansi have a very similar story. Their sky god, Numitorum, sends a duck down, again, multiple dives, finally bringing up the bit of earth that expands to form the world. And sometimes the duality of the duck's black and white feathers is noted, maybe hinting at that light-darkness theme again.
It's a recurring pattern then. Any others?
Oh, yeah. Further east, among the Siberian Ket people, there's a myth about a great flood washing everything away. Afterwards, it's a divine duck that dives down to get soil from the bottom to remake the land.
Okay, so the duck as a world restorer too.
And then you have the Samoyedic peoples. The Nanets talk about a heavenly duck laying the world egg on the water, and the pieces of the egg become the sky and earth.
The world egg motif. We see that in other places too.
We do. And the Selkup, another Samoyedic group, tell of a pair of ducks working together, diving down to bring up the mud for land.
So it's not always just one duck. Sometimes it's teamwork.
Sometimes, yeah. And for many of these cultures, the connection isn't just about the initial creation. For the Kantian Mansi, for instance, the golden-eyed duck is seen as a really important shamanic helper.
A spirit guide.
Yes, and more. Their shamans actually mimic the diving motion of the duck in rituals. It's like they're spiritually reenacting that journey to the primordial depths, traveling between worlds. The duck is a mediator.
That's fascinating, the physical act having spiritual significance.
Definitely. And among the Evenki and Tungusic peoples, further east in Siberia, you find stories of a cosmic duck nesting right in the world tree.
In the tree, like the nest we talked about earlier.
Kind of, yeah. But here, its eggs might become the stars, its feathers the rivers. And in some Evenki myths, the duck actively helps fight off, like a subterranean serpent or monster, by bringing back sacred soil to heal the world. So it's a creator, a sustainer, a protector.
Wow. And is there, physical evidence for how important ducks were?
There is. Archaeologists have found Bronze Age amulets shaped like ducks in the Ural Mountains region. This suggests this veneration goes back thousands of years.
So not just stories, but actual artifacts.
Right, and ducks are often painted on Siberian shamanic drums, frequently shown near the world tree. It really cements their role as these crucial go-betweens in their cosmology.